Navigating the Nigerian business landscape presents both challenges and opportunities for entrepreneurs and investors. While the country boasts of immense potential for growth and profitability, persistent inflationary pressures can significantly impact business operations, ranging from increased cost of goods and services to fluctuating consumer purchasing power. Now, dealing with these is critical for any business to succeed. And joining me for more on this is Oluwatosin Olaseinde, the CEO, Money Africa. Thank you, Oluwatosin, for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about this now. Many great ideas struggle to, become successful businesses, and what are the necessary steps, to move from ideation to reality?
You just have to move. So in order to move from ideation to reality is actually taking that step. And then as you take the step, you'll be able to then see what is the next step. What can I do next? But you have to literally just make that move. Sometimes the business might not be viable, but you wouldn't know if you do not take that step. So you have to make that move in order to be able to ensure that is the business going to be successful or not.
All right, so in doing that, taking that step, what are the things that are involved in all of that? Maybe you need to do some market analysis, you need to do something. So because I understand that, yes, if you do not take that move, you may not know if it's going to be viable or not, but I also expect that you've done your homework. And to a very large extent, you're maybe 90% or 90, I do not want to say 99, but 90% chance of, having a good business. I mean, let's talk about the things that make up that aspect.
Okay, great. So based on research, 3 in every 5 startups do not make it. They don't make it past the first 5 years. They die off. But you could be the 2 out of every 5. Some say 4 out of every 5 don't make it. You could be the 1 out of every 5. So now what do we do? Number one, we want to do some research. We want to do some research, learn about the business, how does it work, things like that. Speak to people that are currently doing that business, right? Read online if there's any curated article about it that goes into detail. Now, once you've done that, the next thing you want to do is you want to test a sample. By testing a sample, something that is a very small size, and this is now taking steps, right? So you want to then take a step and test that sample. How can we do this? We want to also leverage on low-hanging fruits, right? We have things like Telegram that is for free, emails that is for free, Instagram that is for free. Put it out there. Tell people about the product. Put it in their hands, put it in their faces. Start getting feedback. Now, based on that, you can then continue to compound. So some people say, go and build a website, hire a team, and do all of that. It depends on your budget. If you don't yet have a budget for that, instead of a website, a WhatsApp can actually still serve you, right? You're getting feedback, you're making your first revenue, you're listening to your consumers, and then you can gather enough capital to go the next step to then build websites and do all these other things. Also, there are lots of payment companies that help small businesses build a one-pager with their products. So don't feel overwhelmed like, oh, I have to invest and build out all this really amazing product when you can just try, test the market, put the products there, look for a one-pager website where people can, easily make orders and buy, leverage on low-hanging fruit social media, and then you can start compounding towards growth.
All right, so let's talk about the major challenges, business owners have to deal with in the first few months or even years that can either make or mar a business.
So the big or major challenges, number one, really is funding. Funding is a very, very big thing. Funding is a very big thing. People who could have great ideas, but the businesses might die before they get to see that business succeed. Sometimes a product comes into the market too early. Not that they are stupid or they have a bad idea. The market is just not ready for that product. So funding is one of those things that can carry you on to when the market is ready for it. Another thing that could also cause a company to split is with founders' disputes. So if the owners have disputes amongst themselves, this is some of the challenges that they could actually face, and then they might not be able to go on. Now, the other thing that is also a challenge is when the fire goes out, when the founders and the owners do not have any more fire to go on. You'll be surprised. Once you have the energy, the fire.
So let me come in here.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, if I have a great idea and I have invested, into it, how then will I all of a sudden, lose the steam? What causes that?
It happens all the time. many a time people go into a business hoping that they're going to get certain numbers, and then it does not happen. Reality is different. They struggle to many business pivots, right? So if you look at even Samsung, they started as a grocery store, and then now they are them, manufacturing phones. So, and that is because of the tenacity of the founders, that they knew that they were going to go from a grocery store to manufacturing phones and making crazy amount of money in revenue. So if that hunger, if that energy to continue is not there anymore, the business is definitely going to fall apart.
All right,
So
so
yeah,
I've
it happens.
okay, I've had to, speak with many businesses on the field, and for many of them, these are challenging times. I mean, have businesses had this bad in recent years? Because talk about inflation, talk about, we know the twin policies of the federal government and how it's impacting businesses. I don't know, in recent years, has this happened before?
Uh, it's let's speak about. I think what even makes this particular situation interesting is that everything is happening at once. So with all that is happening, there is nothing new under the sun. We all know that the naira has been depreciating for a long time. If we look at our parents' time, it was about 1 naira to the dollar, and we are currently sitting at what? 1,200 naira. So they know that devaluation is not a new thing. The problem that is happening now is that everything is happening at once. So there's a devaluation of the naira, there's an increase in price of fuel, there is an increase in electricity tariffs, everything is happening at once. And that is why this particular time feels so different and feels so unique, right? So it's not the first time we've experienced increase in tariffs for electricity. We've experienced increase in fuel prices. We've experienced devaluation of the naira. But for everything to happen at once, that's what is different about the situation.
All right, so
And that's where the challenge is.
okay, so how are, businesses navigating this period? I know you work with businesses and all of that. So tell me, what are they telling you and what are your recommendations?
Some of them are shutting down. Some of them are letting go of some of their team members. Some of them are collaborating where two companies come together and become one. That is, you're seeing mergers. Some of them are taking a break. They call it a freeze. So you're temporarily just taking a break and holding on, hoping for the future to get better, right? And these are some of the things that we are seeing business owners do. On the contrary, some people are pivoting, meaning they're leaving the businesses they were previously doing and pivoting into new ones that will align with the times that we are currently in. So these are all the different things that you're seeing business owners, trying to dabble in.
I like what you said last, talking about, looking for businesses that sort of fit into the time. So what are these businesses? What can they be that fit into the time that, if we venture into them now, we'll make money and not, lose money?
So, for instance, we know that the cost of electricity tariffs is going up, right? Many people are struggling. You hear people keep talking about heat and things like that. For a person that sells an electric fan, you know that somebody might not be able to buy your electric fan immediately. A company that was previously not giving buy small, small is now making that offer, right? Because it knows that its customer cannot buy that electric fan at once. How about people that are doing solars? They're looking at how can we make a smaller one that can just charge phones? How can we market it aggressively? People are going into those sectors. People are also looking for ways they can package to the global world. So if Nigeria is currently tight, we have these skills, we have this knowledge. Can we target New York? Can we target London? Can we target other places? And they're just looking for how to pivot, looking for how to earn in Forex, right? So now they're looking for how a portion of the income of or a portion of the revenue of their business could be generated from, global companies or global clients base. So these are some of the things you're seeing businesses adjusting and trying to fit with the times.
This sounds like, some savvy business owners, sounds like maybe in the realm of maybe small businesses. What about micro businesses? How should they react at this point? What should they do at this point so they can, stay afloat?
So for micro businesses, you have to also listen to your market, right? And ask yourself, what else can we do? So for people that were previously not attached to the financial market, let's say for instance, they need loan to be able to do certain things because things are really now expensive. that companies that have never taken loans in their life, especially the micro ones, there are institutions that actually give micro companies loans. It might be time for them to explore it, fully understanding how it works, so that they don't use it, so that it's not in their it's not to their detriment, right? Another thing that micro companies can also look at is actually speaking with their team members. They're closer to the grassroots. They're closer. Ask your team members. No, you can't do it alone. So let's say you're a micro business, you have only one or two people. Speak with them. What else can we do as a business? What have we not uncovered? What have we not touched? You'll be really, really, really surprised. Sometimes people are sitting down on knowledge that their team member have, but they've not asked them or they don't trust them to be able to, share it with them.
All right, so just before we go, I have like two more questions to talk to you about. I know we've mentioned this during the course of this conversation, but I want it to be more maybe structured now. So to successfully run a business or startup at this time in Nigeria, I'd like you to talk to us about factors that will engender success.
Okay, factors that will engender success. Number one is doing your research. You need to be able to understand what is the business is about. Number two, speak to people that have gone ahead of you. There's nothing new under the sun. Somebody has done it. And now with the beautiful thing about social media is that it gives you access. Go on LinkedIn, go on Twitter, go on Instagram, go and find them, speak to them, and just, that helps you have some knowledge so you're not repeating the same mistakes. Number three, you have to put your foot in the water. You have to test the market, create a small sample size and start testing. Number four, leverage on low-hanging fruits. Get your mailing list, market your products on Twitter, WhatsApp, Instagram, pay for those small ads. Let your users, potential users, interact with it. Number five, start getting feedback. Call those users. What do you think about it? What can we do better? Can I do a package? Can we tweak it up? And that's a good place to start. And then you can then continue to build up on it and compound. Now, you must bear in mind that there are different types of products. Some people are selling a service, some people are selling hardware products, and you might have to tweak it depending on what you are selling.
All right, so in closing now, are there things you think, the government should probably have done better to help businesses manage, this period? In 30 seconds.
There's a whole lot they could have done better. I felt like they could have had some cushioning. Everything happened at once. They could have faced it out a little bit. But we're here now, and then we're hoping for victory. We want them to succeed. It's in everybody's interest if the government succeeds. We want them to succeed.
Absolutely, it's in everybody's interest if the government succeeds. Oluwatosin Olaseinde, CEO, Money Africa, thank you for your time on the show today.
You're welcome. Thank you.